Hi guys, so what is the most popular car in the whole world? Well, the car at number 1 probably won't surprise you. And the car at number 3, maybe a little bit of a surprise, but you'll probably go, okay, yeah, sure, I get that. But the car in second position, man, that completely knocked me sideways. I was like, what? How? Why? So what is the car at number 2? I'll tell you right after this. So I got a press release from findandfundmycar.com, which I guess is somewhere where you can go and find your car that you want and also can arrange finance for it as well. And they basically did an analysis of data and they came out with the world's most popular sports cars, both globally and individually according to country or region in some cases. I'll go through that in a little bit. I'll also go through the methodology that they use, because it's not what you're thinking, because you're probably thinking like I was thinking, that it was probably sales data. That's not what they've done. So before I get into that, I did decide to go and have a look at sales data. And from that, I discovered that, not surprisingly, the best-selling convertible sports car in the world is the Mazda MX-5. And they've counted this from 1989. And it's basically around 1 million of those have been sold. So, and that's not really surprising at all. The best-selling two-seater sports car was maybe a little bit more of a surprise to me. And again, what they've done here is they've not taken one generation of car, they've taken the brand plate and they've gone across generations. So this car they've counted from 1969 to 1999, and then when it was relaunched again in 2003, or rebooted if you like, and up till the present time. And the nameplate of car that I'm talking about, the best-selling two-seater sports car in the world, is the Nissan Z car series. Yeah, believe it or not, that's what that is. And they've sold about 1.5 million of those. Of course, the best-selling sports car, or four-seater sports car as it's defined in the world by a long shot, and in fact, therefore, the best-selling sports car full stop, is something that's been around since 1964, and I'm sure that you've already guessed it, because it's the name that immediately would come to my mind. It is, of course, the Ford Mustang. Well over 10 million of those have found homes. That's incredible, since, of course, 1964. In fact, last year, Ford actually celebrated two sales crowns when it came to the Mustang. It was not only named America's best-selling sports car for the last 50 years, last half a century, but it was also the world's best-selling sports car for a 5th year running. Wow. And of course, now even in countries like the UK, like right here, we also get right-hand drive models. So anyway, I'll come back to that. So that's not altogether a surprise. Going back to Find and Fund My Car. So this is what they did. They tried to identify the top 5 cars, top 5 selling sports cars across the world. And then they also tried to find out by country, although I don't think that I'll come to that. The map is not quite clear about how they've done or what they've actually done there. But to find the most popular sports car in the world, what they did is they took the top 34 sports cars that were listed on Wikipedia, and they ran their names through Google search. They then used analytical software to identify which of these cars got the most search interest by country. So this is how they've broken it down by country. And then they simulated all that data to come up with the top 5 across the world. So this is kind of based, so it's not based on sales, it's kind of based on what people are after. So it's not what people have bought, it's what people aspire to or fantasize about, or aspire to earning by doing Google searches for them or looking them up online. I do have some information about social media, but I'll do that after I've done that. That information I think was from last year. So once again, the number 1 car on their list is not altogether a surprise at all. Of course, it is the Ford Mustang, which, they say is the longest produced Ford car nameplate. So, and all that heritage, all that history, iconic design. I know I've always said it's one of the coolest cars you can currently buy. I would have one. You know, you can get them here in the UK. There's just nothing to beat that 5.0 V8 Coyote engine in the current car. So yeah, I mean, that makes total sense to me. You know, and you know, it's the car that I continue to claim is probably the car that's been in more movies and TV shows than any other car on the planet. So yeah, that makes perfect sense to me. Of course, I am actually sitting in a Mustang. Kinda. I mean, this you're thinking, wait, what? I know it's got 4 seats, but what? No, this is, of course, if you've been following it, and hashtag BCG Ford Mach E. Yes, it's a Ford Mustang Mach E. It's the all-electric car, the only electric car that Ford currently do, and an impressive thing. So you'll have to wait for my review on the car. But yeah, you know, again, I wonder if this is actually going to factor into this going forward. Obviously, this is the first year that this car has gone on sale, the Mach E, I mean. But I wonder if going forward, the Mustang nameplate is going to factor into these sales figures and popularity figures, which is perhaps another reason why Ford were wise to go down the Mustang route, even though it's so controversial. So anyway, according to the research, it appeared top in 29 countries in their listings, with over 979,000 searches. So nearly 1 million searches across 29 countries puts the Ford Mustang at number 1. Number 2, as I said, this was a surprise to me. The BMW i8. Yep, the BMW i8 junior hybrid supercar-ish sort of thing. Launched in 2014. I actually did the launch. And I wasn't that impressed with it, to be honest. I did an international launch drive, and normally when you go into these spectacular international press drives, you come away besotted with the car because, you know, the whole thing they've set up, they've chosen the best roads, they've wined and dined you, they've treated you like VIPs, you know, and you come back and you go, yeah, that car is awesome. But funnily enough, I was like, yeah, it's okay, you know. So even back then, I wasn't all that taken with it. And nor I assumed were that many other people, because it didn't hang around 2014 and discontinued last year. So 6 years, basically. And, you know, again, in the Middle East, I'd never really caught on. And I think that it wasn't really considered a serious supercar. Of course, the Middle East is kind of the home of supercars. So it wasn't surprising. I mean, it only got 1 point. I mean, you know, you're not going to be sitting in the majlis going, oh, wallah, my supercar has a 1.5 liter engine. I mean, that's just not going to wash, is it? You know, and 235 brake horsepower might sound a lot to most people, but if you're in a supercar league or even a sports car league, it's not that impressive, is it? So, but anyway, surprisingly, you know, they only sold 20,465 of these. But yeah, 34 countries put that one at the top of their list. Wow, the BMW i8. Wow, I must have underestimated that one. The number 3 is another supercar, sports car, with the number 8 in its name. Can you guess what it is? The Audi R8. Yes, so the Audi is right up there at number 3, introduced, of course, in 2006. Over 38,000 of them have been sold. 899,000 global searches online for the Audi R8. So therefore, it is the 3rd most popular car. I kind of get that. I can understand that, you know. It's maybe not the sexiest of all supercars, but it's certainly the most sensible of supercars currently available, apart from maybe the Honda Acura NSX, which I have yet to sample in its current form. At number 4 is another one of my absolute favorites. Of course, you know, we've established the Mustang is one of my favorites, and I have an incredible soft spot and a lot of affection for this number 4 car. It is, of course, the Dodge Challenger. And again, you know, originally around since 1969, multiple generations, 3 generational changes. And the latest one was 2008. It came about in the world. I remember doing a review even back then, and I reviewed it several times, including in the various formats and SRT LRT formats and as a Hellcat as well. Received 827,000 searches, so very close on the heels of the R8, and of course it made that the 4th most popular car. Number 5, again, another car that is very dear to me as well, because I owned one of these, admittedly only a Mark II generation, and recently reviewed the current car, which you'll find the review of on this channel and also on browncarguy.com, and that is of course the Toyota Supra. Quite a cult following for that 2JZ or 2JZ if you're in America, inline straight 6 engine. Came out in 78 with the Mark I, then the Mark II, the Celica Supra. It was still a Celica Supra for Mark I and Mark II. Mark III dropped the Celica. I had the Mark II. 84, I think it was. And the 4th generation, the iconic Fast and Furious, the one that made famous by the Fast and Furious series, came out in 1989. 797,000 global searches on that one. So that's the top 5 cars. Now, they broke it down by countries, and they said our results show that the BMW i8 is incredibly popular in European countries, where North America is dominated by, you're thinking, Ford Mustang. That's what I would have thought. No. The Kia Stinger. Come on, guys. Come on, yard. That's not even a sports car. That's a 4-seater saloon, 4-door saloon, man. What's that about? Why is that even on the list? Kia Stinger. Wow. And that's only if you get the V6 GT one, you know? Because there's all these other, like, over you get the diesels and stuff, you know? Well, I think they've discontinued it now. Anyway, so it was that car combined with, this makes a little bit more sense, the Dodge Challenger. So those were the cars that dominated North America. Oceania, predominantly, again, the Kia Stinger. Oh, what's the matter with people? And then Asia, nothing against the Stinger. I like it. It's a good car. But sports car? Asia has a lot of interest in the Porsche. Not 911. Taycan. In the Taycan. What's going on there? That's an electric car. Come on, guys. And it's a 4-door luxury executive saloon thingy-me-bob. Isn't it? Anyway. What I decided to look again, because I took a little bit of, actually, let me go through the countries then. And again, the country thing is a little bit difficult because the way that they've presented it, you know, if you can make it out, is, I don't know if you can see that, is they presented it in a map, a color coordinated map. But there's so many colors on this thing that it's not quite clear. So it's a little bit tricky to analyze this, but I'll try and do what I can. And then I'll come back to something else, which is basically, what are the most popular cars on social media, specifically on Instagram? What were the most popular cars? And again, I've been proven wrong, because I thought that the most Instagrammed car was, again, the Ford Mustang, followed by the Porsche 911, but apparently not. But I'll come back to that. So I'm going to try and figure this map out. But what I can tell you is the UK is dominated by the Ford Mustang. How about that, huh? The American car is now dominating the UK. I suppose with our new trade deals with America, that kind of bodes well, doesn't it, really? Maybe we can get some more muscle cars over from the States. That would be good, wouldn't it? So, yeah, but we don't... But, you know, in the UK, we had the Ford Capri, which was our version of the Mustang, our equivalent to the Mustang from Ford. But, of course, there is no new Capri, so it makes sense that the Ford Mustang has taken over that mantle. Canada, the Kia Stinger. Come on, you Canadians. What's that all about? USA, the Dodge Challenger, not the Ford Mustang, the Dodge Challenger in the United States of America. Argentina, the Audi R8. BMW M5 is the top. And again, that's a saloon, guys. That's the most searched for car in South Africa. Australia, also about Kia Stingers. Come on, really? Wow, the country that gave us Holden and, you know, Mad Max and his crazy Interceptor, and you're looking at Kia Stingers? Okay, Mad Max would not be happy. Iceland is Tesla Roadster, and Tesla Roadster does pop up in quite a few countries, actually, which I can't make out. China is Porsche Taycan. So the Chinese are the ones that are all about the electric Porsche. It's almost like it's been designed for them. And then why is the BMW i8 so high? Because it's huge in Russia, it seems. Yeah. It's the most popular search sports car in Russia. That's why a huge swathe of red has put the i8 right at the top of the list. So I wanted to break this down. I can't really go into, you know, detailed countries. But I wanted to break it down into a few countries that I was interested in. Saudi Arabia is just kind of clear on this, so I don't think that really they had data. Maybe that's why it doesn't seem to match any of the car color key colors. What I can tell you is the UAE, it appears to also show the i8. That's got to be wrong. I can't comprehend that at all. I know the UAE market very well. It's all about the muscle cars. It's all about the muscle cars and then the high-end supercars. So that doesn't make any sense to me why the i8 should be there. And then Oman, this makes a little bit more sense. It looks like that is the BMW M3. That would make sense. India also BMW M3. Pakistan, BMW M4. Let's say BMW M4. Hang on, is that, no, again, see the color is so faint and weird. Now it's either, no, yeah, I think it's safe to say that India is BMW M3 and Pakistan is BMW i8. Really? Hey, what's going on in Pakistan? BMW i8. Afghanistan appears to be, if I'm reading this correctly, if I'm understanding this color key correctly, the Bugatti. It's either the Chiron or the Devo. They're not messing about. They're going for like, yeah, what's the fastest thing out there? Heck, we'll have one of those. Awesome. Sri Lanka, again, BMW i8. Bangladesh is the Dodge Challenger. Weirdly enough, the Dodge Challenger. Unless it's the Camaro. No, I think it's the Dodge Challenger. That's extraordinary. So there you go. That's just breaking it down by country. I'll put the link to this in the description below, to the full research that they've got, so you can go and check it out and see if you can figure out if I've got the countries wrong or whatever. But what I want to come to is, like I said, the social media research. And again, this basically proved me wrong, because as I said, I'd always thought that the Mustang would be the most Instagrammed car, followed by the Porsche 911. According to Quidco Compare, this is a comparison they did it last year. They issued this in August last year. The most Instagrammed car is actually, this is a shocker, although it's a car that I really, really love, the Audi RS6. Wow. Officially the world's most Instagrammed car. Wow. And the second one, the Range Rover. The Range Rover is second. And the third, the Honda Civic. I know you're thinking this makes no sense. Well, the Honda Civic kind of makes sense, because if you're talking Type R and stuff like that, I could get that. And also all the modified Civics and stuff like that, could kind of make sense. So this was the most Instagram cars, but hatchbacks accounted for 10 million hashtags on Instagram. So they accounted for the most hashtags on Instagram, and the least Instagrammed cars were estate cars, or wagons if you prefer, with only 200,000 hashtags. Now, again, I tried to print it out, but it's very, very small, so bear with me. And in terms of SUVs, the top dog was, as I said, the Range Rover, followed by the Range Rover Sport, and then at number 3, a car that we've actually owned and loved and cherished, and probably not anything that you can immediately call to mind when you're thinking what's one of the number 3 most Instagrammed car in the world in terms of SUVs. The Honda CR-V. Yeah, the Honda CR-V, not the Land Cruiser, not the Nissan Patrol, not the Jeep Wrangler, the Honda CR-V. Isn't that crazy? I'm again, this is Quidco. Okay, this is Quidco Compare. Don't blame me, right? Just blast through the rest of those. Executives is fully top 3, all taken by Audi. The Audi RS6, as we've already said, the A6, and then the Audi S5. Hatchbacks, like I said, Honda Civic, followed by the Volkswagen Golf, but that's at a considerable distance. I mean, we're talking about, looks like, from what I can tell, about half, nearly just over half the number of hashtags that the Civic has got. And then followed by the Ford Focus, which is actually pretty close on the heels of the Golf. Sports cars is, thank God I didn't get it entirely wrong, is at number 1 in sports cars is the Ford Mustang at 3 million, over 3 million hashtags. And then you've got at 2 million the Nissan GT-R. That kind of makes sense. And then third place is the Audi R8. So I guess that kind of consolidates what we were talking about earlier. City cars, we've got the Fiat 500, the adorable little Fiat 500. So I get that. That car is very cool. What I'm very surprised about, which I'll tell you after I've completed the top 3, second place is the Ford Ka, and third place is the Fiat Panda. What surprises me, where's the Mini? The Mini, I would have expected either to be number 1 or number 2 on this. I'm really surprised about that. Super Minis, is a Mazda 3 at number 1. followed by the Honda Jazz. Okay, it makes sense to me. And then the Ford Fiesta. That's kind of logical. Then saloons, you've got, again, top dog, another Audi. I'm amazed that Mercedes and BMW have not featured on this list, or rather, there's a BMW coming up. And Mercedes not at all. But the Audi A8 top dog saloon, followed by the Audi A4, another Audi, second place. And at number 3, the Mazda 6. Wow, that's a pretty good saloon, I gotta admit. In the crossover SUV segment, it is the BMW X1, followed by the Mini Countryman. Okay, so Mini finally got in there. And then the Mazda CX-30, which I just recently reviewed. Check it out, it's on this channel. And then finally, for MPVs, but nobody really cares, we've got the Ford C-Max, then the Renault Scenic, and the Ford Galaxy. So 2 Fords there. Funny, no Renault Espace, that used to be the thing. Or Chrysler Voyager, that used to be the thing. Anyway, there you go. What cars surprised you? What cars did you think should have been on that list? And what cars do you think are just wrong? They should not be on that list. I'll try to put the links in the description below. Go check out the data and leave me your comments. I would love to hear your feedback.
Hope you enjoyed that video.
If
you did, make sure you're subscribing to youtube.com/browncarguy and hit the bell icon and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of my videos. Whilst you're at it, subscribe to browncarguy.com and follow me on social media by just searching for my hashtag. That's on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and even on TikTok. If you love my content, then please consider sponsoring and supporting it, and you can do that over at patreon.com/browncarguy. And you know what? You can use my platforms to promote your product, service, or brand. My YouTube channel is now closing in on 3,000 subscribers as I record this. Total views are nearly 500,000, and the reach just over the last month is nearly 1 million. So join these amazing people as my patrons, including Mohammed Humaid in the UAE, Partha in India, a tech guru and social media consultant. Find him on parthans.com. Tom Conway Gordon here in the UK, Isaac Beauchard in the US. He's got some great deals on cool cars at bespokeautos.com. Reza Adil, check him out at Alizadeh Cigars on Instagram. Mohammed Qasim, business consultant. You can find him at wehms.com. Siraj Abbasi at Tiles Italia on Instagram for luxury floor and wall tiling. Mark Waddell in Canada. Zach Kogiani, a globe-trotting pilot with amazing images for sale at zachkogiani.com. And last but not least, my school champ Shaheer Hakki. Thanks for watching. More cool vids on the way. Catch you again in the next one.